Hello folks, and welcome to the channel, or welcome back. And in this video we're going to continue to work on the entrance to the tower room and the bathroom. In the previous episode we installed the rafters because the old ones, they were really bent and I could not make it really level. But meanwhile a whole bunch of stuff has arrived for the bathroom. And some of those elements are pretty darn heavy. And one of those heavy parts is the shower base, which I have right here. I already have it suspended. And I'm going to pull it up with a pulley because this is 80 kilograms, and as you know, I work on my own. I don't have a staircase yet. So now that the ceiling is still open, this is the right time to lift it upstairs, and this is what we're going to do next. I already did it for the shower glass because that was a huge piece. This was about 2 meters by 1 meter 40. I got it upstairs. Now it's time for the base. So I placed some temporary planks onto the rafters, so now I can actually pull up with this little pulley here all the heavy pieces from downstairs. It doesn't go very fast, but it beats really carrying it upstairs. So all right, I'm at the end, so now it's a matter of trying to lift it on one side and get it up there. Okay, that's it. We have it in place. Installing the rafters took me a little bit longer than what I expected because in certain areas I really had to work them in. And this is a typical connection that you would find in old buildings where they hook beams together. They have kind of a tail here, and that tail of course prevents the beams from getting apart from each other. So cutting all this out was a little bit of work, but at the end we got it all in place. So we have all the rafters in place, and now we can actually check how level they are, and they are really level. I made sure of that because that will facilitate the installation of all the planks. The old rafters, they were so crooked and bent that the planks wouldn't fit, but right now this is spot on. So let's start installing the planks. Now installing the planks onto the rafters can either be done by nails or by screws. Now in my case the rafters are very level, so I'm going to use nails, but if they are not 100% level, then you might be better off with actually using screws to lock them down to the rafters. I'm just going to place the planks now to see if they all fit and if I have enough planks. Although we did measure it, but you never know. Well, it looks like it's going to be just right. That's good. Now, I know they don't look all that pretty on the top. We still have some spots because when I put it through the planer, I didn't took everything off on the top because that was not necessary. You don't want to make the planks too thin if it's not necessary. Because at the end, there's going to be another floor on top of this. First of all, after it's been nailed, we're going to put on top of this an OSB panel, and then on top of the OSB, we'll actually have another nice parquet floor. If you're going to nail oak planks, and especially on the outside, you want to have coated nails because otherwise you're going to get rusty spots on the oak after time. Now in my case it's internal and there's even a top floor going over the planks. It doesn't really matter, but I'm still using coated nails, and as you can see these nails have kind of ribs right here, so that prevents it from releasing from the oak beam. These are very rigid, and I'm using this in a nail gun. But a normal hammer will do as well. The only problem with a hammer is that sometimes the nails will go in an angle and then they bend over just because it's oak. That's why a nail gun is quite comfortable to work with. Now this is a pneumatic one. You also have some that work with batteries. So let me charge this up with the nails, and then we can actually start. There we go. And of course we're going to need a compressor. Now this is a small portable compressor, very light and very quiet as well when it runs. So very handy inside a house if there are other people around and they are annoyed by the sound. This is the ideal compressor for that. So, all right, let me hook it up to the nail gun, and then you hear that? That's not loud at all. This is very soft going. And in fact, it makes even a bit more noise because it's sitting on those beams. But that's pretty easy to use. All right. And this is how we're going to continue for the rest of this floor. The planks are in place, and now we need to install some more rafters on the other side because the girlfriend changed her mind. She doesn't want to have a sunk-in bath. Instead, she wants to have a walk-in shower, so now I need to raise the floor. The initial plan was that the bathtub would have been sunk into the floor. But now that has changed, and I will have to install these rafters now into these cellular concrete blocks, so they will have to go down something like this so that it levels out with the floor we just installed, and then on top of that we go in to install OSB panels. So I'm going to put about every 40 centimeters one of those 18 centimeter by 7 centimeters beams, and that should be more than strong enough to support the actual floor. Keep in mind that we'll have a shower on that side, we'll have a toilet on this side, and here we will have a sink. So all that is a bit of weight, so I want to make sure that the floor is more than strong enough because we're going to put tiles on top of the wood, and you'll see on how we do this probably in about 2 or 3 videos from now. So let me go out and cut another one of these beams, and then we can install them. I've spaced all the beams and I've made the marks on these cellular concrete blocks, and I already have cut 2 grooves in it. And for that, I'm just using a jigsaw because that stuff cuts pretty easy. All right. So let's see if the beam fits. And I think that's fitting perfectly. It should be sticking out about 2 centimeters, and it's a little bit more for the moment. It's 2.5, but that's because the other side isn't in yet, so I think that will be all right. All right, so let me do the others, and then we should be done. So the next thing we're going to do is to put some of these corners on these beams, and in this side right here I have an anchor coming from the outside wall, so that's going to keep the walls together. All right, so this is not going to move anymore. I leveled out all the beams and they are now in the walls, so now I could actually install my OSB panel on top of these rafters. But I'm not going to do that because the floor I'm standing on, I'm going to insulate that first with this insulation material. And now I know this is fairly thick. So before I really put my OSB up, I'll need to insulate the floor. And before I insulate the floor, I have to run a bit of plumbing, because I have to have the drain, the hot and the cold water arranged wherever the shower and the sink will be. So this is going to be for the next video, because I can't do all of that in this video. But let me show you what we're going to do after we have insulated the floor, what we're going to do with the OSB. So let me put this down. So that's going to go in like this, so that will fill it up really nice and it will provide a very good insulation layer. Here is the OSB panel, and that will go up there. As you can see, it's almost the right size. So once the OSB is on and the floor is isolated and we have all the plumbing done, then we need to put an extra layer on top of the OSB because I want to install tiles. And let me show you what that material is. I think this is a little bit wider or longer than the OSB panel, so that might not fit. I might cut off a little bit because it's too tight, but this is a special panel. So the board goes on top of the OSB. It's absolutely watertight because this is polystyrene. It is 40 millimeters thick or 4 centimeters, and on both sides you have an enforced layer with a grid on it and then cement. So this is absolutely watertight and you can actually tile on that one. It also decouples the wooden floor from the tiles. I'm also going to use the same stuff for the shower because you need to make sure that the shower is absolutely watertight, and this is really the right stuff to do this. It comes in different thicknesses. I opted to go for 40 millimeters because that is giving me an extra layer of insulation. But for now, I'm just going to put it aside. Now these boards are not cheap. They are quite expensive, but they are worthwhile the money, specifically for a bathroom. I still have to clean up a lot of stuff, so that's it for this video, guys. In the next video, we're going to do the plumbing, the insulation on the floor. We'll also install the OSB panels, and we'll use the base of the shower to find out where the gutter has to be, or the drain. Same thing for the sink, for the toilet table, and for the toilet itself. So all that needs to be lined out, and I will do this once the OSB panels are in place, not bolted down yet, so I can align everything. And then when all that is done, then I'm going to start installing the frame in the front, so we can lock this off. We need to insulate the ceiling still, start installing drywall, some framework. Still a lot of work to be done, and then finally we'll install these special boards as I showed you to put the tiling on. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.